So today, I want to talk about Orishas. I want to talk about statues of Orishas, and Orisha tarot cards, and Orisha oracle cards, and consecrated Orishas, and Ifa. You know, I've been on this TikTok app for 4 years now. And one of the argument fights that I have seen come back over and over and over again is Santeria priest and Lukumi priest that want to attack people for going to Botanica and purchasing like statues of Orishas. Like really, really viciously attack people and tell them, no, you can't do that. You can't buy a statue of an Orisha. You can't venerate a statue of an Orisha at your home. That's not true. Today, I want to explain to you the difference between going to Botanica and getting an Orisha statue for your home and putting it into a special place for you to venerate, and a consecrated shrine to the Orishas, or the Orisha that you're going to receive an initiation and take home and work with. This is also a perfect opportunity to talk about this practice, whether it's open or closed, and who is and is not priests, who can and cannot practice it, who is and who is not a priest. So let's start with that first. So let's use Jesus as an example. Anybody can pray to Jesus. Anybody can go buy a crucifix or a cross and wear it. Anybody can buy a rosary and pray the rosary. But not everybody can be a Catholic priest, because to be a Catholic priest means that you study, you go through school, you go through divinity school, and then you get sanctioned by the Catholic Church to be a priest. There are requirements for being a Catholic priest, such as you have to be a man. So you can't just wake up one morning and decide you're going to go down to the Catholic Church at the end of the block and walk in and tell everybody that you're a Catholic priest and today you're going to be serving communion. Like, everybody would laugh at you, because everybody knows that in order to be a Catholic priest, there are requirements. And it's the same thing in these traditions, and I'm talking about traditional African religion, Ifa, and also in Lukumi, which is a diasporic practice of Orisha. There are initiations. You get initiated into these practices. And it is by means of initiation that you receive the sanction to speak on behalf of the Orishas and practice the religion. It's an initiatory practice. So if you don't get initiated in Ifa, you are not an Awo. If you don't get crowned in Santeria, you're not a priest of Oshun. Because these are religions, just like Catholicism, just like Hinduism, just like Buddhism. Okay, they're religions. They're religions that you learn how to practice. You become a member of the religions. You become initiated to become part of the religion. And some people will go farther than, let's say, a minor initiation, like getting their hand of Ifa or getting their Elekes or getting their warriors, and go all the way to the priesthood. However, Oshun is just like Jesus. She is a savior in our religion. And anybody can pray to Oshun. Anyone can talk to Oshun. And you can go down to the river and you can take your oranges or your pumpkin and your honey and your cinnamon and sit and talk to her, pray with her, sing her songs, dance for her down by the river, give her offerings. Because people who are not priests or not initiated in these religions should go out into nature to where the Orisha lives, to where their Ashe is, where their primordial force lives. And if you want to go to Botanica and buy a statue of Oshun and come home and clean it, have a place in your home for that Oshun statue and put out honey, flowers, candles, whatever, There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And don't ever let anyone tell you that that's wrong or that's bad. Because Oshun is the supreme divine mother, the leader of the Age, Iyami, the primordial mothers. And we all have the Orishas inside us in the same way that we have our mother and our father and all of our ancestors inside of us. So the Orisha lives in you just as much as the Orisha lives in nature by the river. So it's about respect, and it's about knowing your place. However, I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. There are going to be people that will buy statues at Botanicas, take them home, set them up, and decide that they are priests or priestesses of an Orisha. They might even start their own spiritual house or their own organization. And I'm not here to judge that. You know, when Gutenberg invented the printing press and they started printing off copies of the Bible and distributing it out to the people, and the Protestant Reformation happened, and because of the Protestant Reformation, now you have 100,000 different kinds of Christians. Any Yahoo on the side of the street that steals a Bible out of a hotel dresser can stand on a soapbox and call themselves a preacher and start their own church in America. And people can also do that with Orisha, because this is a free motherfucking country. It's my recommendation, if you're a traditional practitioner or if you're someone that's initiated into these practices, what other people do is none of your business. Stay out of other people's spiritual business, because not everybody wants to get initiated into these practices. A lot of people don't have money to get initiated into these practices because it costs a lot of money. And most people are working with spirits of the dead. Most people are working with their ancestors and their spirit guides. And I am all about ancestor veneration. I am all about ancestor worship. So if I see a young black girl who on TikTok is going down to the river and giving oranges and honey and cinnamon to Oshun, and she has an Oshun statue, and she's created this big shrine, and she's an Oshun priest or whatever, I am not going to say a goddamn thing, because how dare I attack somebody else's spirituality or somebody else's faith? As a white man, how dare I try to tell a young girl of color that she cannot venerate her ancestral goddess, her primordial deity? It's not my place. My place is to teach people. I'm a teacher. I like teaching people things. I especially like teaching people about spirituality. It's my job as a priest to explain things to people simply. And hopefully if people want to get initiated, or they want to learn more about Oshun, or they want to have divination cast for them traditionally, like with the cowrie shells or the opwele, they'll do that. And I think at some point in time, people that start out on the path of buying stuff at Botanicas and doing their own veneration are going to realize that in order to really, really get into it and get close to the spirit, that they're going to have to do more than that. But I also need to remind you guys of something else. If you are in Lukumi, Santeria, and I am in Asheshe, you get no opinion about how I practice. In the exact same way that a Catholic Christian has nothing to say to an Orthodox Christian about how they practice. Because if we're not practicing the same thing, what I do is none of your business, because you don't practice it. I've been wanting to make this video for a long time. I'm sure it's not going to be received very well by my haters, but you can go put your face in a donkey's ass. I want everybody to venerate and pray to and talk to Oshun, the Divine Mother. I encourage people to, and if you're doing that, that's great. I support you on your spiritual journey. And if any of you need help on your Orisha journey, well, you can always contact me, because in my house, in my spiritual temple, all of you are always welcome.